Hello!
Hello! It's been a while, hasn't it? Sorry about that.
It's ages since the last shop tour.
It has. But now, it's time for another one. Roll the titles! So I've been searching for a bit of Action Man. And I've not found loads, but I have found a searchlight. This has come off an ex-Palitoy employee. And what was weird about all this sort of stuff was that when you get different things that come from Palitoy employees, it makes me quite excited. This one's weird though, because they've still gone and sort of had it from the Palitoy shop and then still cut out the stars to send off for more, unless that was done at the time. But it doesn't appear to be, because we have some other Palitoy shop examples in here. Here we've got an ordinary field commander, or is it? As you can see, this one, look at the bottom of the box, is a Palitoy factory one, not for resale. This sticker makes this really exciting for me. And this one, they've left the stars on. Different people, different collections, maybe with different sort of things, but this is just one of those really cool items. Inside, there's a little bit of a ding around the top here, but for me, it's all about that little brown bit of tape on there, that factory shop label. I love that sort of thing. Just think about where this has been. It's been sat there in a loft waiting for somebody just to love it, like me, because it hasn't been out, hasn't been played with. It's great. And even though it's only ordinary, and let me tell you, that backpack, if you were actually carrying that in real life, no way. It's huge, it weighs a ton, it'd be no way, it wouldn't work. You'd have to basically have the construction ability of an ant to be able to carry that. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. I want to show you these two really pretty things that are in here. These are absolutely minty Talking Commander. Again, ex-Palitoy owned. Pretty much faultless on the box. A few dings every here and there, but it's a really lovely example. I do love Action Man. It's one of those weird lines. I struggle with it when it's loose. I like it when it's mint and boxed like this. This one, this is a good box. Not mint, again from the same source. It's just had a bit of an issue here. But interesting, even with these dolls, these later dolls with the eagle eyes, even though they're brand new, the heads are still off. You can rattle them around, but they're easily fixable. So we tend to leave it up to the customer what they want to do, but we always fix them free of charge for people. But yeah, it's a nice thing, that is. And we don't get them in very often nowadays. Years ago, we were getting stuff coming in from Palitoy all the time. So just seeing a little bit of it come back in, it's really nice. Even down to things like shelf talkers that you used to get in the shops. These are fairly common. If this was a Star Wars one, it'd be worth a fortune. But this one's a fairly common, there's a lot of these found. But it's just really nice bits of history. I remember going out and seeing these in the shops and my mum actually going, "You're not having one of them." So I had to get all mine second hand. So it'd be all right if I took all the guns off it. That was how my mum was. It's got guns, you're not having it. No. So Action Man was a bit of a bust for me. So I used to have to pretend they were doing sports. Right, I'm off somewhere else. I think Gav's got something to show you.
In 1990, Matt Groening released The Simpsons. It was the biggest animated show ever. So many characters, so much merchandise. These Playmate figures, they're getting up in value now, and they really are cool. They're such quality figures. But I'm not here to talk about Simpsons. I'm here to talk about Futurama. What happened with Futurama was, The Simpsons, it was getting a little bit tired. It'd been 9 years. It'd been running for 9 years. It's still running today. But he released these new characters, all in the future, very similar to The Simpsons. We had a big cast, and they all had their own little skills. He was a delivery driver, pizza delivery driver from the past, got frozen in time, just ended up with just another delivery job in the future, working for his nephew, who was an old man. The characters were fantastic though. Fry, probably the best of all, Bender. He was a cranky, miserable robot, smoked a cigar, and just look at him. The design on him is fantastic, just like The Simpsons, but in the future. Love it, so good. And then we've got Leela, Cyclops lady. She was the love interest, Fry's love interest, and little Nibbler there was her pet. And he's got such a deep voice. If you've not watched Futurama, I don't know why, you need to go and watch it straight away. But these figures are really nice examples. And, you know, they're quite collectible now. They're quite hard to get, especially carded. You just don't see them around. But no, well worth looking up.
So we had an amazing time at Celebration, didn't we?
So good, such a good show.
But you lot, you bunch of swines, cleared us out. God, there's any Star Wars left.
What was great, it was so nice to meet you guys as well.
Yeah,
So many
was.
people came up who've been watching the videos.
Yeah, we got loads of photos of people. We got loads of these sort of like nice comments and good conversations. We had a laugh with people. We put faces to names of people that we knew.
That was the nice thing.
And that was really nice. So thanks for coming over if you did. But yeah, next time don't buy so much stuff.
Don't clear us out of Star Wars.
This has been a real effort to actually get it to look like this. But yeah, as soon as you put stuff in the Star Wars cabinet, of course it seems to sell. Why is it so darn popular, Gav?
I just don't know. Only the biggest franchise ever.
Yeah, that'd be why, then, wouldn't it? Takara R2D2. Yes, this is priced at a price where I don't want to sell it, really. It's lovely, a really, really nice thing. You don't come across them very often, certainly not in the UK, and this one is a perler. Gav, you're going to have to help me.
I'll help you with this. This is probably my favourite thing that you bought in a while.
Yeah?
Really nice.
Where's the little bit of... Oh, there it is, look. It's a Celebration throwback. We've dropped something. Not as expensive as that rocket, though, was it? But here we have it. Very nice R2 unit, complete with sealed firing missiles, which I've not got this one going, but the one I had memories of did shoot them out at quite an alarming rate. So I think we perhaps should have a go with that, Gav, at some stage.
Do they fire in rapid succession?
Yeah, I think so, from memory,
wow.
but I don't know if they've got a different one. I think it's just on the click, so you click it once and it clicks out. Made me nervous doing that, Gav.
Oh, yeah.
Nervous. But it's cool, isn't it?
Really
I do love it. It's even got these little things like this do count. Little packing piece to go on it just to keep it safe, and it's so thin.
And that tiny little bit of packaging adds to the value of it,
doesn't
it?
Yeah,
it's bizarre,
really does.
Tiny little thin bit of polystyrene.
There we go. It's lovely though. I do love it. One of those toys where it's an R2 unit. I love an R2 unit.
It is awesome.
So cool. Come on, let's put it back in its home and hope no one buys it.
We're not talking balls today. We're talking about the rest of this weird and wonderful cabinet. Look at all the colours, how it pops. And we've got some really weird and unusual toy lines in here. Like toy lines that people don't really even know about. Crystal, for example. How cool are they? Look at them. Such a great, you get a whole playset in there. And the figures, yeah, they're a little bit rubbish, but that's the joy of them. That's why we love them. And look at him. Look at the detail on him. Look at his face. Fantastic. And we've got so much of it as well. Dragon Riders of the Sticks. Very, very similar. They're sort of almost like knockoff Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. Look at him, he looks a bit like the Gorn from Star Trek. And this wizard hat. What were they thinking when they designed him? They weren't thinking. They just drew something and they made it. That's bad, isn't it? The toy designers would have me on that one. And who's this fella in the red dress? Zardeth. Great names. Zardeth, Warbow, Ogeode, maybe, and Moltar. Good names. They knew what they were doing back then when they were naming. Everything's a bit boring now.
You said Malta. I want to book a holiday. Man.
Holiday to Malta.
Holiday to Malta. It sounds lovely. I'm going to go on holiday with Malta to Malta. It looks a bit hot though, doesn't it? It's really cool. You find all these weird stuff and trying to find out where these are from, which sets they're from. Because he's even got his own like. It says Prisma Crystal, but it looks like it would be like a Golden Girls mirror or something. You wouldn't know what it was.
It does look like that.
It's really cool. But that's the point with all these toys. This is the stuff that excites me, and nothing excites me more than some weird sort of a Kamas style cowboys and that sort of thing. Because I've got some in here actually. Look at these. These are again. We're going into the sort of weird knockoff lines, and this is what happens as a collector. You collect the normal stuff, and you start looking at the weird stuff. I don't want to use your catchphrase too much, Gav, but it's true. You start looking at this sort of stuff, and this was the sort of thing that when you see it, I've got to have it, I must have it, I must have it. It's just so cool. All the different characters you could get with this line as well. And they even did sort of weird knockoffs of these. So even the knockoff companies, they weren't strictly knockoffs, but they were kind of loosely based on other figures. They were knocked off by other companies as well. For instance, we're down here, this one here is very similar to an Akamas toy. Yeah, we picked him up somewhere on Toyshop on tour. I can't even remember if we had this bit lying around for him. We picked up a couple of these, but he's really cool. That's like a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff. It's like, you know, your weird sort of toy lines that you get. And then we've got stuff like this, the Galaxy Heroes line. Now these really were a little bit naff. I like these though. It's the heads on them. The heads what make them. You get the normal figures, they're all right, but then you get weirder. Tiger Man, he's just ace. Look at that. His tiger head.
Sometimes they've literally just thrown a head on it.
Yeah.
Like the snake one.
The snake one, that's just like, we've got a peg on this, we'll put it on. See what it looks like. It looks rubbish. Let's go with it anyway. We'll sell it. The kids will buy it. And it's true, because we're still buying them today at a lot more money than they were back then. Really cool. And the one size fits all packaging as well. Yeah. You could fit the axe in there, you could fit the sword in there. It was quite clever, really. They were doing it on a sort of budget, weren't they?
Yeah, very much so.
Same card art, same back, same figure, slightly different colour, different coloured pants, different head. That was it. Different shields as well. Even the body armour's the same on these two. Lost World of the Warlord. I got told off the other week. So not all Remco toys are rubbish. And I've got to say that, man, you're absolutely right. These are amazing figures. Really, really well made. This figure is one of my favourites, Lost World of the Warlord. This is Warlord himself. I've no idea about the cartoons or anything. I know they reissued these figures. This is one of the originals though, in a really early UKG graded box. Got that blue label, which I don't particularly like. But it's a lovely figure in a lovely, lovely card. Great toy. Remco did make some good stuff. So the G.I. Joe range obviously inspired a lot of toy makers. The Maidleman, we've mentioned before, it's one of my favourite lines. I think it's a really cool line. It's well made. There's a lot to like about it. It's quite bright. This is one of the more boring figures as well. He just looks like a normal G.I. Joe though, doesn't he? These guys though, they're a bit weirder. In fact, we did see when we were on Toyshop on Tour 2 out in Europe, we saw quite a few of these boxed items, but these are really sweet. Again, it's one of these things when you start looking at the weapons, you think, I've seen these before in bit boxes and stuff. It's, yeah, I'm not in love with these, I've got to say. But these I really like. They just feel a bit better quality. But G.I. Joe did inspire so many different lines. The Star Wars 3 3/4 explosion was the start, wasn't it, really? Even though I know there was other small figures, Adventure People, things like that, but it was Star Wars that really pushed it to the next level. Probably why the popularity of Action Man and all that sort of, the 12-inch and the 9-inch figures sort of fell, because everybody was playing with 3 3/4 and everybody wanted in on the action. And these two, although they missed the mark slightly, I'm still quite fond of them, especially that Maidleman.
There's nothing more iconic than Jaws as a horror film. It's kind of a horror film, isn't it? But it's so big. And at the time these came out, they didn't make a lot of merchandise for horror films. It's just more of a recent thing, that is. But look at this, made by a company called Adar Super Scenes. So they maybe did a few more of these, but it's a model kit. It's like a ship in a bottle, but it's Jaws attacking Brody there. How cool is that? Let's have a little look at it. I've not even opened this up yet. Oh, look at that. That's wonderful. That'd be so great to paint up. How'd you get it? The bottle must be in 2 halves. That's fantastic, that is. I mean, they did 2 or 3 Jaws things. You all know the big shark game where you'd have to fish things out of him. It's great. Great on display, that is. Great display item. But more recently, there you go, as I break that, Reaction, oh, he's coming off, have made these figures, retro style. They do a few good ones. There we have Quint. There's only, I think there's like 2 Quint figures available. So if he's your favourite, here's mine. There you go, that's what you got. Who else we got? Hooper. Oh, he's good, isn't he? Look at that beard and them glasses. I mean, these are made to look a bit rubbish. So don't think I'm thinking, you know, these are the best figures ever made, because they're not. But they're great. They're the figures like you would have had them when this movie came out. and Chief Brody. The likeness is not bad on him, actually. But yeah, reaction. I'd like to see some more. And now Joe's going to talk about some soldiers.
Why aren't you involved in this bit, Gav?
Oh, you know, it's not my thing.
Anyway, Britain's soldiers. I love Britain's stuff. I love tractors. I love all the stuff that Britain's made. It's really cool. And the soldiers are no exception. These are the things that I played with as a kid because I could get away with it. And we used elastic bands to fight with our soldiers. So we had this different thing. Airfix soldiers, we used matches. Bit of a death trap, I know what you're thinking. And looking back on it, it probably was. These were a cut above. These cost you a little bit more money from the shop. And we didn't have loads of them, but we did get some second-hand ones later, which meant we probably had about 50 each in our battles. And they were really cool. And we used elastic bands to knock these over, so our battles would be short and swift. And most of the figures by the end of it, where the pegs fit in underneath here on the feet, these would be snapped off and the figures would be ruined. But they are lovely. And getting these shop stock ones is something, it's a real treat, because we never bought them like this when we were kids because we couldn't have the money to buy brand new, but we bought them as second-hand items. So seeing them like this is kind of new. And these beautiful boxes, they really put the effort into the packaging. So look at that, I mean, that's stunning. Absolutely beautiful. It's a lovely thing, and they don't come up very often. In fact, it was really hard when I priced these to work out what a fair price was for them. These came from a guy that we deal with quite often, a friend of ours called John Baldwin, who is an absolute legend for finding stuff out of old shops and things like that. And that's where these would probably come from. They'd probably come out of an old shop that closed down many years ago. And these were the lower value items they probably put away, didn't sell at the time and just forgot about. But I love them. And the motorbikes are spectacular. Look at that. Little Greaves motorbike. Also got things like the drag racing machine, inspired by the Hot Wheels bikes as well around the same time. Britain's did their own. Really, really cool toy line. They even did a Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, I do like that.
See? I knew I'd win you over,
All right,
Mr.
you
Gav.
got me on that one.
Yeah? Wurzel Gummidge.
All the little heads, that is really good.
It's ace, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were a really good company. It's kind of one of those things, it's of a time past. This was the sort of Britain stuff, like the tractors, I only got them as treats. You went on holiday, like normally I went on holiday to Abersock in North Wales, and Mum and Dad would let me get a tractor per holiday. So once a year, I'd get a brand new tractor. But there you go, lovely thing.
It's a bit dark in here, isn't it? Still. Micro Machines. Look at that colourful packaging. This is a perfect example of a toy line that was heavily sold by the advertising. I didn't even like toy cars. It was not my thing. But the adverts, they were fast-paced, fast-talking, like in all 80s adverts. And they came in collections of 5. Micro Machines and collections of 5. Remember that advert? There they are. These are the little play sets. And they folded up. You could take them. You could put them in your pocket. And what we got here? Little rental car place. That's exciting, isn't it? There's a few like that as well. Heliport though, that's good, because they did, helicopters, they did spaceships, they did Star Wars things and all sorts with these. But look at that, great little set, little building, your little helicopter, and they all clip together so you can make a massive play set. You need some big pockets to put it all in, but great stuff. We've got loads of them, and we've had loads more than this as well. They've really sold well. Look at that little car wash. Again, excitement knows no bounds there.
We weren't allowed to use the car wash. My Auntie Jean, who had a bit more money, not my real auntie, she had a bit more money than us, and she went in through a car wash. It was like a day out for me. I was so excited. I said, next time you go, Auntie Jean, can I go with you? Because I really want to go through the car wash. She was so excited. It seemed like a different world.
Look at that, that's a bit more exciting. Service City, we've got some ramps there, whizzing them round. And they were quite speedy for little cars. They don't look much, but they really went. And 25 quid, that's not a terrible price, is it? Get some really nice collectibles for quite cheap. No, I love these. I could get back into these myself. Very dangerous.
That's right, we've got 2 laser commands. Again, yes, we've just sold a laser command, we've bought another laser command, as well as a whole host of other masks. Look over here. Look at it. Loads and loads of lovely boxed masks in here. There's some really, really nice stuff. Some of it is, there's a couple of unused bits, but most of it's used and in excellent condition with no inners. It's one of those sort of collections. Things like Wolf Beast, this is something that doesn't come up very often. And this is probably one of the worst condition boxes. I'm just going to move these figures out of the way. It's got a very wide gait, that figure. I don't even he arrived on horseback. What's going on with that? I dare move him back, he'll break. In fact, the masks on these you have to be really careful with. They go really brittle. This is probably one of the worst condition boxes in the actual collection we've bought in. But this is Wolf Beast. He's one of those ones that, as a toy, is he that good? No, but he's cool because he's a Corvette Stingray, which makes him super cool. And of course, he's the main baddie's car. It's Miles Mayhem's car. But yeah, it's a really lovely thing, that. I do like that. Wolf Beast's cool. Then we've got others, so more standard fare. So we've got a couple of Vandals here. These are really nice. I mean, this is boxed with inners. It's in lovely shape. £55 on one, 65 on the other. You know, it's not all mega money. So that's what I like about masks. You can get into it for not a lot of money. At the end, it will cost you quite a bit of money to buy it all. But getting the bigger sets, we've got a Volcano down here. We've got, there we go. That's a really lovely toy. Really cool. Even as a kid, when I was too old really to buy those, it was one of those toys where I wanted it because it was like basically a monster truck. Which, as you've seen by my choice of van, I like things with big tyres. Maybe I'm compensating for something. Who knows? That was a funny noise, wasn't it? It wasn't even the box. There we go, there's Goliath. Really cool. I mean, this is a nice box as well. They don't come up very often in that sort of condition, to be fair. So all the big hitters, all the difficult stuff to get, we've got. The only things I think we're missing out of this whole lot is a couple of the, I think it's Billboard Blast, one or two of the others. So really nice to see. We've got Bulldoze, or Bulldog, depending on what country you're from. Bulldoze, and then we've got, as well as that, another Outlaw in the back there.
We saw him at Star Wars Celebration, and now we've got him in, the new Indy figures. We've just got Indy, but look at him. They've done such a good job of him. We saw them all out in the cabinets, and we absolutely had to buy them in. The retro ones are even pretty cool. They do look, you know, you can tell the difference, but they look pretty similar to the original ones. And the card art, it just lends itself. Nice placeholder if you're a collector. Yeah, really nice. And we've priced them very well.
No. As usual, Gav's getting it all wrong. What you actually want is something like that. But this is the map room. This is far cooler, Gav.
I agree, I 100% agree. But we've sold this, you can't show that on camera.
Oh, flip it.
There's nothing quite as creepy as kids' masks from the 80s. These are full Ben Cooper mask and costume sets. Look at it, it's terrifying. That is just pure evil right there. Imagine little tiny kids wandering around in these on Halloween night. Oh, terrifying. We've got Godzilla as well, King of the Monsters. That's a really, really rare set. You know, it's got a bit of wear, it's got a bit of creasing. But find another one of them. Just find another. Now this is one of my favourites. And again, creepy. Absolutely creepy. Flame retardant though, so you were all right there. Run around in the flames, you'll be fine, kids. Good stuff. This is the best one though. This is probably the best one we've got. Chuck Norris. You wouldn't necessarily guess that was Chuck Norris, but there is a telltale sign inside on the plastic costume. Chuck Norris has actually signed it by hand. I think have we got authenticity for this?
We've got a photograph of him signing it.
There we go. How cool is that? A signed Chuck Norris item in the form of a horrific Ben Cooper mask.
I just want to know who Ben Cooper is. Why on earth did he put his name to such terrible masks? But I do love them, Gav. Good choice, mate. Now it's nearly time to go, but before we go, we thought we'd want to show you this lovely WWF Superstars shootout game. It's got all your favourite wrestlers in it, hasn't it, Gav?
All my favourites.
What are the wrestlers in there, Gav?
Pink Scarf Fella.
Greasy Steve.
Noel Edmonds.
Yeah. That's Jeff from Accounts. There's other names as well.
Jeff from Accounts comes into things a lot, doesn't he?
He does.
Along with the Piano Man.
Yeah. but the
it's
Piano
such a
Man's
weird
there.
item. It's hockey and it's wrestlers.
I know, it's what everybody wanted.
What's great though, the hockey sticks are like their own props.
Yeah.
Like Hacksaw Jim Duggan's got a big 2x4.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
But that
it's
is,
like the Sarge's got a big bullet on the end of it.
well, that's good,
It's
isn't it?
cool, like nice design.
Yeah.
Sort of weird item.
Well, you know as well as I do, all the wrestlers back in the late 80s were mad for hockey. So this was they'd been right at the rally. And it's the good news is, because it's cold, is it ice hockey?
Yeah.
It looks like ice hockey. I've got to say, they're not really dressed for the occasion. And I've not seen...
They're tough, they're wrestlers. But Hulk Hogan's losing, look, to this kid.
Oh, he is,
He's
yeah.
angry.
He is angry. But I would be as well, I think, if I was losing to that kid. I like the way the kid has actually got a helmet on just to play the game. That's really
It's because
lovely.
Hulk's going to kick his ass.
Anyway, enough of this ridiculousness. It is actually a really lovely toy, and we're very
really
proud
cool.
to have it. So that's it. It's the end of another startlingly exciting shop tour, and it's been a good one, hasn't it,
It
Gav?
has been really good, but we've got so much more in the shop. You need to come and actually visit us in person.
That's right. Here at the home of Toy Shop on Tour and Leicester Vintage Toyshop in Leicester, you can come and see us. And if you're very lucky, we might even take you for a coffee at our home of At Home with Toy Shop on Tour, James's Cafe Bistro. So there you go. That's been us.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
To our home, our spiritual home of James's Bistro. I've mentioned James's Bistro twice now. That was overkill.
Oh, you could have just gone with it.
No,
Joe.
I didn't like it.
You need to come and visit us in person.
In person, unless you could do it through a sort of form of out-of-person experience, which is better to do. Gav's shaking his head like this bit's weird.
That went bad at the end.
It did.